fight's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
Alright guys, welcome back to Broke Bets. Lane here with you. Also got my co-host with me as always, Carson.
Yo, yo, yo. What's going on?
Yeah, coming off of the UFC 299. Typically we don't get to brag about winnings in the start of the video because we always pre-record, but here we are, positive card. We'll talk more about these fights at the end, but yeah, 1.67 units won. Also, again, just pay attention to that Patreon. Line movement beat this year. Made a little calculator. Up at the top, you can see we have a 3.3 unit, or 3.4 pretty much unit differential just on line movement beat this year. So pay attention to that stuff and beat that line movement. Sign up, guys. $5 a month. It pays for itself. So first fight, we have Anheliger versus Grigoriou. I don't even want to try to say Charalampos. We're going with Grigoriou here. I do think this fight goes to decision. I really like this one going the distance. Chad Anheliger has 6 losses by submission. However, I think like 5 of those happened like 2015 and prior. And in the UFC, he's only been submitted by Jose Johnson. And Jose Johnson just had a massive size advantage on him. Coming into this one, I think he's tough enough to at least withstand the punches, but Grigoriou looks like he's going to be slightly better in the grappling, more damaging on the feet, and at his age, Anheliger, there's just not much to prove. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Grigoriou has a decent kicking game. I saw in his Contender Series fight, he knocked the guy out like a minute into that fight, so that was a pretty quick one. But yeah, I mean, Chad Anheliger's never been KO'd before, and I don't really see him getting submitted here. Grigoriou has 0 submissions. So yeah, I mean, I feel like Anheliger will be tough enough to go to decision here. Like you said, he's been submitted a ton, but Grigoriou doesn't have any submission, so I don't really see that happening here.
Yeah, I see Grigoriou a lot too. He does a similar thing to what Dricus du Plessis does, where he does like the multiple strikes sprinting in a row, and a lot of times he doesn't look very fast doing it. Chad is pretty light on his feet for the most part, so I think he can kind of, get out of the way of those strikes a lot of the times. But overall aggression, Anheliger's chin, I mean, Jose Johnson was 6+ inches taller, I believe, than Anheliger. So dealing with an opponent like that, I think he's going to be fine also dealing with Grigoriou here. So yeah, give us Grigoriou by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Cory McKenna versus Jaqueline Amorim. Going with Cory McKenna. Jaqueline just no cardio. It seems like no toughness when the fight's not going her way. She'll probably dominate round 1, and Cory McKenna will win rounds 2 and 3. Little confidence in this fight. I just feel like McKenna's not much of an athlete herself. She's not going to be able to finish people in the UFC from what I've seen. I mean, she does have that Von Flute choke, but that's Miranda Granger, for God's sakes. Just give me McKenna by decision. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think McKenna will be good enough to not get submitted early on, and then Jaqueline will tire herself out, and McKenna will take over in 2 or 3. Yeah, I mean, I feel like decision McKenna here, but yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah, better striker on the feet in my eyes, although she can't do any damage.
Yeah, I mean, better striker, but she's at a 10-inch reach advantage or disadvantage. Yeah. I'm pretty sure her reach is like one of the smallest or shortest in the UFC.
Yeah, it's pretty tiny. I think that's like a 4-foot something reach. That's fucking crazy. Anyway, Amorim, bad fight IQ too. Like, she tripped on trying to submit Ruiz the entire fight in her last one, and then she finally started doing ground and pound. It was the easiest finish ever. So anyway, yeah, I feel like this one, it doesn't really interest me, just to say flat out. So Cory McKenna by decision. All right, for the next fight, we have Josh Culibao versus Danny Silva. I'm going with Josh Culibao with little confidence here. Danny Silva looks fucking good, man. And I think his, skill set may be being overlooked by how tough his opponent was, Pacheco, on the Contender. This dude's just got crisp boxing, a solid shell for defense, has a good chin from what I can see, decent takedown defense, and then maybe just lacking a little bit in the kicking department. But other than that, pretty good fighter and going to be in a rough fight here. Culibao, likes to bounce at range more, and I think that might be the determining factor. And then, of course, if grappling were to play in, I think Culibao could maybe use his tools a little bit more in a fight like this. So, yeah, give me Culibao.
Yeah, Silva looked really good in his Contender Series fight. Pacheco was durable as heck, and so was Silva as well. He ate some good punches. Silva works the body really well, which I love. He didn't really throw many kicks. They were just in boxing range pretty much that entire fight. I could see Culibao having a little more success at distance in kicking range, and then if he wants to grapple there as well. So close fight, hard to pick, but I feel like this one goes longer. Could be a very high-paced fight, like you saw in Silva's Contender Series fight too. So.
Right. I feel like the criticism of Culibao too is he's not fully separating himself from his opponents, even in his wins where he's looking great. Like the Sun Woo Choi fight, he looked like he easily won, but still the judges made it a split. I feel like he's still lacking that spot where he's just fully pulling away from people in these fights. And an example of a fight like this where Danny Silva's going to be in his face, just moving forward, trying to box him, it's going to be hard to score, I think. So.
Yeah, constant pressure, and Silva just throws a ton of volume too. He could just out-volume Culibao and win the decision there, just based on volume. Right.
Fun fight here, though. So, Culibao by decision. All right, for the next fight, we have Thiago Moises versus Mich Ramirez. We're going with Thiago Moises. Seems like an easy pick here. In my opinion, Moises is kind of the gatekeeper for the lightweight rankings. He's not quite, the Contender gatekeeper. He's more like, if you're going to get ranked at all in lightweight, you got to get past this guy, or in that range, Obviously, great BJJ. Pretty well-rounded game, not particularly special or great, but Mich Ramirez, to me, not fast enough. The punches are a little bit wide and slow. He does have some natural power, but I think he's just going to be outclassed here. And then also, cardio-wise, I think Moises just has it above him. So I'm going to take Moises by a second-round submission, just when Ramirez slows down a little bit.
Ramirez coming in on short notice too, I believe. So, Moises was scheduled to fight Brad Riddell. So Moises was in his training camp. Mich Ramirez, I don't know if he had a fight scheduled or not too. So, I just think Moises will overwhelm him with the grappling and probably submit him. I think. Ramirez has never been submitted, just finished by Prates, but. I think Moises could find the sub here.
And Ramirez has just been a lot more of an offensive grappler in his fights, so maybe not put in the position to be submitted as much here. Where Moises does a good job getting people's back against the cage, most recently, in the Melquizo Costa and the Diagos fight. So I don't know if this meal steamroll just because Moises doesn't masterclass people, it doesn't seem like, but once that grappling starts, Ramirez starts to slow down. Moises starts just to take over, in my opinion. So
the two submissions that Ramirez has at the time, the dude was 0-0, and he's now 0-5. And then one before that, he was 4-5 at the time, and now he's 6-9 too. So, not the best level of competition.
Also, just bad chest tattoo. On getting your name on the front. Does he not know a jersey where you put the name on the back? Come on, bro. I don't know. I feel like you could get a much better tattoo with your name on it. But anyway.
Yeah, let him know.
Yeah, roasted. Anyway. Moises, submission, round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Osbourne versus Jafel Filho. We're going with Filho in this one. Osbourne, unreliable. That's just flat out what he is. Biggest takeaway from him, you're getting finished too much. 5 of his 6 losses are by finish. Filho, every win but 1 is by a finish. Almost broke Makayev's leg. Ode just overall, I think he just lacks that ability, especially after round 1. And I'm going to go with a submission here for Filho in round 2 when Ode slows down a little bit. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Filho's striking is very wild. He throws wide hooks. I feel like Ode in that first round could catch him up the middle, but yeah, I mean, like you said, Ode's just not reliable at all. He's getting finished all the time. Hasn't really been consistently on a win streak. I mean, he's win, loss, win, loss, win, win, loss. So he's going back and forth in the win column. So yeah, I think Filho in that second, third round could find a submission here. Maybe even in that first round too, if he's able to get him down. But yeah, I mean, Filho ate some body shots too, so I think Ode could look to go to the body early in this fight and hopefully get him out of there. But yeah, I don't think he'll be able to, and Filho will take over in that second round.
Yeah, the big concern is I wouldn't bet. It's kind of dog or pass, and I would say more dog in it's Ode Osbourne by round 1 finish or pass in my eyes. Like we're going with the under in this fight, but Ode just is so fast in round 1, and if you watch Filho's last fight, he's throwing these wide hooks, and then he's got caught to the body. He could have easily got his lights put out in a lot of those exchanges, but Barbarena just slowed down a little bit, and in the grappling is where he struggled, and then Filho got the game working there. Nevertheless, I think it's an exciting fight. You just see Filho's hurt, and then he starts running across the cage, throws 10 hooks in a row. It's like it's setting up for the under in my eyes, just when that type of shit's happening. So
right, and yeah, he's always going fast. Feels like pushing a good pace. Yeah, Ode 4 KO wins, all 4 of them in the first round. 5 submission wins, 4 of the 5 in the first round. The other one in the second round too. So
right,
Ode's he's finishing guys early on when he is winning these fights here.
And if you're smart, I think you just employ the same strategy that Barbarena just did to Filho. You just go straight to the body as soon as the fight starts because he showed vulnerability there. So anyway,
yeah.
Filho, submission round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Josiane Nunes versus Chelsea Chandler. I can't pick this bridge troll, Josiane Nunes. I gotta go with Chelsea Chandler. I don't know, there's something like, I feel like Nunes' game was overhyped coming into the UFC because she had like a brutal KO against that Bea, whatever this girl's name is. However long ago, and she's just fighting in these weird weights. I mean, she's coming down a weight class here, but she still will be tiny, 5'2". Chelsea Chandler's a pretty big girl, and I think just her wrestling approach could win her this fight. Nunes does have power in those hands, but overall, I think Chandler actually has a pretty snappy left hand herself. But yeah, I got to pick the grappler in this instance. And who knows if Nunes can get back to her feet when she gets down. So, yeah. I'm going to take Chandler by decision.
Yeah. Nunes at 5'2". Just scary to be picking her with how short she is. But, yeah, I mean, Chelsea Chandler could be able to get this one on the mat and hold her down for good majority of this fight if she's able to get those takedowns. See, Nunes was able she got stuck on her back in her previous fight against Pasquale, so yeah, it could be a opportunity there to take advantage of, but yeah, no confidence in this women's fight here.
Absolutely no confidence. Obviously, Nunes didn't look very good versus Farine, but she was also fighting like a 6 foot tall man, it looked like, so
And Nunes was like a huge favorite, like minus 600 or something crazy.
Yeah, it was fucking ridiculous. But I don't know where I stand with a fight like this. I don't care too much, to be honest. It's the same thing. Man, a lot of these chick fights just feels like we're going nowhere. With there's no prospects coming through right now. Anyway, we'll go with Chelsea Chandler by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Mike Davis versus Natan Levy. Going with Mike Davis here. Just well-rounded. The boxing, the toughness, ability to take a punch, and just good grappling. I mean, Natan Levy's known to win a lot of these fights on the ground. But I think Mike Davis, defensive wrestling would be better. Might even have better offensive wrestling. Overall, I see this just being a better game here for all around for Mike Davis at range. And Natan Levy slowed down in some of these fights. He, Mike Breeden started to get some momentum on him in the third round. That's just extremely concerning because Mike Breeden is trash. Mike Davis, good chin, and high level, has faced higher level competition. So yeah, give me Davis by decision.
Yeah, for Levy, that Mike Breeden fight sticks out because he did make that interesting. It was kind of a close fight too, so not the best look with Breeden being not the best. But yeah, like you said, Mike Davis, he's well-rounded everywhere. Uses his weapons very well. Can grapple, better boxing, high-level wins. So, yeah, I think he's got it all going for him. Beat Borshev and Mason Jones. And, I mean, Mason Jones not in the UFC anymore, but he's rattled off 3 KO wins in Cage Warriors since getting cut. So,
right.
That I would say that is aging well, that win there.
If you haven't seen Mike Davis's fight versus Sadiq Youssef on the Contender Series, it is just absolute banger of a fight. I'd suggest anyone to go back and watch that. Levy as well. I feel like he just has this weird structure with his shoulders and chest. His shoulders are like his rolled
waist,
forward.
His waist feels like so skinny.
Yeah.
Like
he doesn't have like that prime build for MMA, I don't think. And I've also just noticed he seems to get hurt to the body when he gets hit there. So that's another, more weak point. But
right.
Anyway, give us Davis by decision here. Okay, for the next fight, we have Gerald Meerschaert versus Bryan Barbarena. Interesting grappler versus striker matchup here. And I can understand why Meerschaert is the favorite in this position, but we're looking at two very unreliable fighters here. And I'm going to go with Barbarena. There's just some things that stand out to me in this. Meerschaert doesn't land takedowns, really. Doesn't really attempt them. It's more him falling to his back. I mean, he had one versus Petrosky, I believe, a little bit too late in the fight. But Barbarena, for the most part, he's getting taken down by a lot of these guys, but he's also getting up. Muradov had 9 takedowns in that fight or something like that, and he got up. Gunnar Nelson and RDA just had so much better control that they were able to get on his back and find those positions. I just don't know if Meerschaert has that speed to land that takedown and then secure the position fully. I like Barbarena by a knockout because I just feel like he can hold up a pace in this fight a little bit better on the striking. And I just feel like both these guys are so weak where the other one's better. Obviously, Barbarena's grappling's worse, and Meerschaert's chin is not good. It's going to be an interesting one. I'll say that for the least. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if Meerschaert wins, it's going to be by sub. Like, that's his only path to victory. I don't really see him winning a decision at all, just because he won't do any damage. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be whether if he can get this one down to the mat. Yeah, I mean, Barbarena at 185 just looks weird. He should be at 170.
Maybe even 155 if he really made a cut,
Yeah, if he cut weight. But yeah, I mean, he'll have the better striking. I just think the threat of the takedown will slow him down, and he'll be a little hesitant, and then Meerschaert will eventually be able to get him down to the mat and submit him. But
yeah, totally fair view.
No confidence at all. It's two unreliable people. So
yeah, I mean, like, I've always been kind of harsh on Gerald Meerschaert and all these predictions, so there definitely is bias going into my predictions when I go against him. Barbarena is always in these weird fights too, like Meerschaert with Bruno Silva just like dodging all the punches and then knocking him down in round 3 is so fucking strange. And then like Muradov, when he upset him, Muradov just got tired and then Meerschaert took over. But then like Barbarena, I mean, Robbie Lawler's old, but he still pieced up Robbie Lawler. Matt Brown fight was amazing. And then he's just kind of on the roll of facing some grapplers, and then coming up a weight class was just a horrible decision. He, on one of the embedded episodes when he fought Gunnar Nelson, I think, or RDA, he was talking about how like his wife is like a nutritionist, I think, or like that she was doing his diet plan, and I'm like, what are they fucking feeding him? I'm like, Hostess donuts and shit? Like, dude, just like don't eat like meat exclusively and let the fat shred off your body. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't get it. And he got ragdolled against Muradov the whole entire time because of that weight difference. So, not confident. I like the under. I like a little bit of violence in this one. Took too long talking about this one anyway. So
yeah, I mean, of Meerschaert's 6 UFC wins, they're all submissions. So
right. The only thing about the under makes me scared is Meerschaert always gets these fucking 3rd round submissions. So
right.
You did burned with it being like 30 seconds late or something. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Barbarena KO round 2. Okay, for the next fight we have Macy Chiasson versus Pannie Kianzad. We're going with Macy here. Man, my notes on Macy have just been the tallest, strongest lesbian in the division, and she's missing weight multiple times in her career, and she's been in boring fights, super shitty. Like her fight versus Norma Dumont sucked. She was doing no damage to Aldana, but she was, getting a takedown here or there. For the most part, I think she did just get the takedowns. She already had a win over Kianzad in the Ultimate Fighter a while ago. And Kianzad just struggled versus Caitlin Vieira the entire fight. So I see Chiasson winning in the clinch, winning on the ground, on the feet, nothing impressive, but that doesn't even matter in chick fights for the most part. So Chiasson by decision for me.
Yeah, I think she'll just be able to outmuscle her in like those clinch positions against the cage and get a couple timely takedowns. Yeah, I mean, Chiasson's last fight against Aldana, she was up in that fight until that upkick to the liver, which, yeah, I mean, I had a bet on Aldana and I was sweating that one.
Oh, yeah. I had Aldana by KO, and it was the saving grace. I was like, oh my God. Like, what are the fucking odds?
Yeah, I mean, Chiasson's, she seems to be doing well in her last couple fights too, so yeah, she's a strong lady, can get timely takedowns and just outmuscle people, really.
Simple as that. She'll probably miss weight, and we'll take Chiasson by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Christian Rodriguez versus Isaac Dulgarian. Taking Christian Rodriguez, and I can't believe this dude is the underdog. He has just made a killing against great grapplers here in the UFC. Jonathan Pierce being the only one he's lost to, but even in that fight, had his moments, had some deep submission attempts on Pierce, but Pierce just didn't tap. Missing weight at 135 a couple times, but still dominant in a lot of the fight, and striking looked good. The scrambles on the ground that he can do are pretty unbelievable. And Dulgarian, from what we've seen, just has only really grappled here in the UFC, or in his fighting career, and got Francis Marshall down, and for the most part caused a huge cut, which I think just was the beginning of the end for Francis Marshall. Christian Rodriguez here, I just see him doing what he's done multiple times now, weathering the early storm and then just taking over dominantly. So give me C-Rod by decision.
Yeah, all of Isaac Dulgarian's wins are by first round finished. So, he's been running through these guys, taking them down and ground and pounding them or submitting them. I feel like he's going to get his first real test here against Christian Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez will be able to weather the early storm and take over in 2 and 3, kind of like how he did against Rosas.
Right.
Rosas came out guns blazing. I think Dulgarian will do the same here and then tire himself out, probably.
And
unless he's a new roid monster and has unlimited cardio like Marab. But
right.
I guess I'll take that chance with Rodriguez here.
I haven't... C-Rod, too, he has a nasty guillotine and anaconda. He hasn't been using the guillotine in most recent fights, which is wise. Extremely good sign. He's not Dustin Poirier. And that anaconda, the Darce ability, those front headlock chokes are especially a big deal when you're facing a grappler like this and you have a good sprawl. So the submission attempts could easily line up in his favor. Again, mind-boggling. He's the underdog. I think you guys can already tell by the way I'm talking. I bet C-Rod, so I'll let that be a free bet for everybody.
Yeah, both these guys are super young too. Rodriguez has destroyed 2 young prospects in his last 2 fights too, so could be another one here as well.
Dulgarian was an underdog he was facing Dan Argueta. He was an underdog in that fight, and now he's a favorite versus Christian Rodriguez. Just think about some of that shit. I know that Dan Argueta fight never happened, but shit doesn't make any sense. Anyway, C-Rod by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Kennedy Nzechukwu versus OSP. You gotta go with Kennedy here. Man, what a bad fight IQ, though. Bad fight IQ, a little bit overconfident, extremely physically gifted just with his length that he's given in a fight. Like, his reach is insane. He's got long-ass legs, a lot of these things, but in my opinion, he tries to fight like Israel Adesanya too much, and it does not work for him. His chin's not great. He's been dropped on multiple occasions, hurt on multiple occasions. But OSP is an old-ass man. He should not be fighting, and the UFC probably should have paid him better in the past. So, what do you think?
I think Kennedy's the biggest favorite on the card for a reason. OSP at 40 years old, about to be 41. He has not looked good at all in his last 3, 4, 5 fights. I think Kennedy should be able to find a finish in that first or second round. But yeah.
No sense at all in the matchmaking here. No sense. OSP, got knocked out 3 times in the last 4. Debatably lost against a retired guy. And who do we give him, guy? We'll give him a guy who's wins most of his fights by knockout and is going to have a huge advantage on him. Oh, that's smart. Yeah. Dumb fight. I'm going to be cheering for OSP just to respect him, but you got to stop fighting at the same time. So, anyway, Kennedy KO round 1. Okay, for the next fight, the co-main, we got Bryan Battle versus Angelosa. I'll tell you what, I really like this fight. I'm going with Angelosa. This is going to be interesting. I see... This is just going to be good because Angelosa is just this high-volume, high-output guy. He hasn't really put anyone away here in the UFC, but he's had his good performances. He's been hurt on a couple occasions, but... To me, and my take on Bryan Battle a little bit, he doesn't look completely right here at welterweight. He's bigger, had some good performances, but the Gabe Green one, the dude ran into a knockout, special needs. Every single time I think about it, it's special needs. I bet on Gabe Green, so that's why you're hearing me vent a little bit. And then The AJ Fletcher one, even he got knocked down in that fight by an elbow. I feel like Angelos is going to bring a lot of volume to Bryan Battle, who was so flat-footed in his AJ Fletcher fight. I don't like how flat-footed he is, especially with how much Losa moves and then tries to follow through on his punches recently. So I know he's got no finishes here in the UFC, but I like Losa by a knockout. I think this could be one where Battle just sits with his chin in the air and he just gets found. What do you think?
Yeah, neither one of these guys has been KO'd, but they've both been taking a ton of damage of late. Losa knocked down in his last few fights. Battle knocked down in his last one. So yeah, I mean they're both taking a ton of damage here. I think Battle's got the longer tools here, and if he wins, it'll probably be a little prettier. And Losa's got to make this a dogfight, getting close and just put pressure on Bryan Battle here.
Yeah, I see a war in a lot of ways because, yeah, just like we said, make it a dirty fight, and then he's also coming into range on knees, push kicks. The body work that Battle did against Fletcher was really nice. We've seen that Battle does have that KO power, at least in his hands, to KO Gabe Green. Angelosa been hurt versus Fletcher. Been hurt by Reis McKee late in the fight, Reis McKee, and then strangely could deal with a lot of JDM stuff. So a little bit all over the board, but I like a finish in this fight. I like either person to find a finish. So, any more thoughts here?
Nope.
All right, Losa KO round 2. All right, guys, welcome to the main event prediction. Of course, guys, drop a like, subscribe, comment down below. Always like having a little good back and forth battle. People love to defend their own picks and all that shit. Check out the Patreon. And now, Tai Tuivasa versus Marcin Tybura. It's such an iffy fight, and we're back to another shit. This isn't a shit heavyweight main event, but it shouldn't be a main event, is what I'm getting at. Ty's on a 3-fight skid. Tybura just doesn't have a fan base. And it's a fight that's either Tai by first round knockout or second round knockout, or Marcin Tybura by, I'd say, just late finish or decision. And it feels like I just don't want to pick Tybura, man. I mean, I don't even love Tai like some people do, but Tybura's just not threatening. He did just come off of a KO loss. At least Ty's gonna swang. He's gonna swang those fists, you know what I'm saying? So give me Tai Tuivasa by a first round knockout.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Definitely a step down in competition for Tuivasa. I mean his last 3 fights, yeah, they're all losses, but against top of division, Cyril Gane, Pavlovich, and Alexander Volkov. Yeah, I think this is a good one to rebound on and hopefully knock Tybura out. You saw Aspinall do it pretty quick for like the first minute or so. I mean, he just landed a flush straight and knocked him down. So hopefully Tai Tuivasa is able to do the same here. Get back on the winning track and show us some more fun heavyweight fights, I guess.
Yeah, we got an age difference here of like 7 years. Could go in Ty's favor, although for heavyweights it doesn't matter quite as much. Tybura just has a history, though, of beating people that gas out. And that's like the Romanov fight, where Romanov 10-8'd him in round 1. The Walt Harris one is extremely apparent. He just made a career on it. And I could see a lot of bettors coming in on the Tybura side, but it's honestly kind of a live bet opportunity, if you ask me. Is there even fucking much to say? Why are we doing another heavyweight main event, man? I don't get it. I don't know who else on this card you would throw into a main event, but there's no Jamie Pickett, Eric Anders, just lightning matchup to throw in the main event, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a 6 months layoff for Tai Tuivasa. Yeah, I mean, the Cyril Gane one where he took a ton of damage in that one. to the body as well. And then like 3 months later, or whatever, he was fighting Pavlovich. That was tough to see. So I'm glad he's not rushing into another fight here against another power puncher.
Yes, they're giving a little bit of a break after his big winning streak. It went on a little skid. And to be fair, all the guys that Tai is losing to would also beat Tybura, so not too surprising there. Anywho, let's get done with this. We'll talk about the bets now. So Tuivasa KO round 1. Okay, for UFC 299, we came to 1.67 units positive. Went 10-4 on our picks. And to highlight the main card, we got Petr Yan right, JDM right, Kevin Holland wrong, Dustin Poirier right, and we went with Chito Vera and got that one wrong. So let's just go through the bets. We'll talk more about the fights at the end. So Mikhail Olajaychuk just got exposed to the body right away in the fight. He just couldn't work his way in. We kind of knew that it would be him trying to fight through the range attack to get into a dogfight, and he just never got the dogfight started, so he got exterminated.
Yeah, he did. JD and Jokowane kind of showed that in the previous one. He was able to fight through it in that one, but obviously was not able to fight through that in yesterday's fight.
Yeah, I mean, if he defended that submission, if he got a little bit to the side, it would have been a good chance for a comeback because there's a lot of energy expenditure that early in the fight. But yeah, he went to sleep. So anyway, second fight that's a bet on here. Almeida. I'll be honest. I'm not going to put Almeida on my no bet list yet because this dude is still dominant in a lot of ways. Like, other than those hammer fists, he won every second of that fight. And he didn't show the toughness of the fight IQ. And honestly, I think he was a little bit too quick to even shoot in that second round because he hit Curtis Blades with a nice shot. I don't know what's going on there. Clearly, he probably isn't used to being hit at all because he's just been killing everybody. But I would have liked to see him at least attempt a couple of submissions in that first round instead of just ragdolling and, a little bit of crotch sniffing going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, first round looked good. I don't know what the live odds were after that first round, but probably were pretty steep for.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Almeida was looking good and was gonna cruise his way to winning that fight after that first round, and I was shocked when I saw him land 3 hammer fists and then 4 and 5, and he's just not doing anything. I was like, oh, it's not affecting him, and then all of a sudden he's falling down. So
he also
he could have put a fist up or moved or done anything besides just eat 12 hammer fists in a row.
Also, when those happen, with the times we've seen it happen, like for example, Brian Spann, Johnny Walker, like you see the guy who's on the single leg, you see his head drop to the mat when the punches start to hammer really his head, and you can see he's out, but for Jailton, he just rolled over and let himself die. So, I don't know. Anyway, JDM, clearly just with a much better striker. He had like 2 or 3 strikes where he got caught by Gilbert, but did all the damage in the fight. Gilbert got the big takedown. Jack initiated the beautiful scramble, and the knee just ended the show. And he needed that finish because 2 of the judges' scorecards had Burns up 2-0. So, huge finish, epic timing on that knee, and I definitely went pretty ballistic when that happened.
Yeah, that was, I would say KO of the night, but Poirier had a pretty darn good one, too.
Yeah, that segues right into it.
Yeah.
We're the only people on Poirier, or at least we were the only ones that really picked him. I was so shocked. I mean, we said it over and over, like, Benoit doesn't protect his chin, and he does a lot of things really well, but protecting that chin, obviously Dustin made a ton of mistakes with those guillotines, but I loved how he used that final guillotine just to pull Benoit away from him again, and then just lights out, game over, and that was beautiful.
Yeah, I was a little nervous in that first round, but he was able to survive the submission attempts, and then I was like, okay, Benoit's slowing down a little bit. It looks like, and it's still only the first round, so keep it going. And you saw him knock him out halfway through that second round, and it was a beauty.
Hopefully the odds on Benoit's next fight will be good. I don't know who he'll fight next, but maybe they'll drop now because he got flatlined. So anyway, then Felipe Lins and Ian Cutelaba. This fight could have easily gone under, but since there was so many leg kicks that happened early in the fight, Felipe Lins didn't need to risk anything because he was already ahead. And Ion just couldn't land the strikes. Neither of these guys were that accurate with their punches, too. So that when they went into a 50-50, neither of them kind of hit each other clean, and just no finish there.
Yeah, Cutelaba, he didn't really throw many punches early in that fight, too. It's like the first 2.5 minutes, they were staring at each other. It's like, are you going to do anything? This isn't your usual self. Right.
I don't know.
But yeah, tough one.
Anyway, I don't regret that one. Then Sean O'Malley, Cheeto Vera, a little bit of nervousness in that one going the distance because Cheeto got beat up pretty good. I have to say, so we did pick Cheeto. Obviously had more money. We had money on it going the distance. I wasn't really dying for Cheeto to win or anything, but it seemed like every time Cheeto did really start to go and attempt strikes, he was doing pretty decent, but he fought his first round hesitancy the entire fight and just never got going. And Sean just the initial damage that he created in the first 2 rounds just didn't allow Cheeto to get worked his way back into the fight. You can't make it a dogfight when you already are wearing that much damage. So
yeah, when he did go, he was having some success and caught him at the end with that body shot. Looked like it really hurt O'Malley.
First attempted body shot with a punch he probably had in that fight, you know?
Yeah, maybe we'll see other opponents of O'Malley look for that as well.
Imagine Ilya Topuria with that nasty left hook to the body he has. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be nice to see him.
And that fight might happen. Knowing Dana White, he'll probably make that Topuria Sean O'Malley fight happen. I would not be surprised. But Ilya probably wants to fight Islam, so you know. Anyway.
Yeah, Merab's got to be feeling pretty jealous right now.
Right. Finally, the Spain and Parisian under 1.5. I mean, easy, boys. I mean, Jesus Christ. Fat slob. Goddamn fat slob. And Despain didn't even look that great either. And then Munoz just overs hit. So, boom. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Munoz, Phillips, both of them never been finished before. So, both those guys are super tough, super durable. And then for Despain, yeah, Josh Parisian looked like Juliana Pena, running, throwing strikes, and getting clocked.
I like how he fell in slow motion a little bit. He took a seat and then laid down. It's kind of fun.
And then cover it up. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
Yep. All right, guys. Those were the bets for UFC 299. Again, beat the fucking line movement, boys. It pays for itself. $5 a month on the Patreon. New members every week. Happy to have you guys, of course. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment. Anything else from you?
No, do all that good stuff, you know.
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.
I know. It doesn't matter. I'm from the trenches. I'm built like this. The old doubted me said I couldn't do it. The old said I couldn't do it. Look at me now.